Thanks. Area residents, of course, working hard to clean up snow from driveways and sidewalks. It's heavy, wet stuff. Health experts say they're urging everyone pay attention to what your body is telling you, because this heavy, wet snow is often given the nickname heart attack snow because of the amount of effort required to move it. It can increase your risk of heart attacks. Amir Kabur is a cardiologist for ThedaCare. He says those with pre-existing heart conditions are at highest risk of a heart attack and should reach out to others for help moving the snow. Dr. Kabur says people who also don't work out regularly are also at risk and should start gradually take breaks if needed.
Most of the time I tell the people, if they start sweating and their heart rate fast, don't continue, stop, go inside, warm yourself, sit down, relax for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you can go back and do some work again.
Experts also recommend elderly people get some younger folks to help you out, as the risk of slip and fall injuries also increases while shoveling that snow.